Tuesday, 31 January, year of our Lord, 2023. And this is a new episode of Money Study Group, a new lesson in personal finance. So we're going live. I'm doing a little bit of a tech check at the moment. Looks like we are live. Hopefully we're live. If you don't mind, if you're watching on Facebook or the YouTube, leave a comment below. Just let me know you can hear me. I'm getting ready to open and start the Zoom room where I'll do the same thing. We have several people waiting. I'm going to admit, and good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Zoom meeting for personal finance. If you could please, as usual, chat in to say what time you got here. And if you could also just give me a sound check. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yes. Thank you, Dominic and Vivian and Kayla and Julietta. Welcome, Orlando. Welcome, everybody. I hope you had a great week, great weekend. So today we're going to talk about your credit report and your FICO scores. Excuse me. And I'm going to spend some time trying to answer questions. So this is your time. If you have questions that you want to ask me, this is a great time to do that. I got inundated this week with questions from students, and I tried to answer them, but some of them were actually questions that probably should have been asked in the group me, and some of them I did not get to. I was away from my office pretty much most of the week, and I was without internet. It's a long story. I'm back in the studio today, so we should be good to go, but sometimes when I have trouble with internet when I'm on the road, it's difficult to answer emails. I prioritize, obviously, for clients. And you guys have each other. So please, if you did not get your question answered, hopefully you went ahead and posted it in GroupMe. If you have a question that didn't get answered, now's a great time to ask it. That's what this meeting is for. It's also being recorded and live streamed to Facebook and YouTube. So hopefully you're getting all of your questions answered. But if you're waiting till the last minute to ask me, or if you have a question that could be answered somewhere else, I would encourage you to do that. So there was a couple of questions that I'm going to talk about today as we get going, but we're going to wait until 10:05 a.m. because we don't really get started until 10:05 a.m. So, yeah. Did you get my email this morning? Mm. You saw the screenshot I sent you, though? Yeah, me neither. We'll get it squared away. I may just delete your account and then add you back in after class today, but we'll get you squared away. Did you get Did you get your assignment submitted in Blackboard? So did you see the assignment in Blackboard? And did you do it? Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, we will figure out a way around that for you for this week, but we'll get you fixed up. But just so everybody knows, this is I think, a good case study to make clear that if you ever have trouble with any of the technology, uh, the assignments that are posted in Blackboard are pretty much standalone. So if you have trouble getting into your planning portal, then you'll have trouble doing your assignment. And if you're having trouble getting into Money Study Group, your online course, you're going to have trouble. You're not going to be able to do the quiz, and you're not going to be able to take the screenshots, which are part of the assignment. So moving forward, if you happen to be one of the students like we had this week with Mustafa, if you are having trouble with technology of any kind, just do your assignment. Do it to the best of your ability. Let me know, and we'll get you squared away. But again, I want to remind you all that waiting until the last minute to do your assignment may be the way you roll, but it's got certain risks. And one of the risks that you take is that I'm not going to be that flexible about giving you any room for negotiation if you wait until the last minute. Now, if you do your assignment early and you're having an issue, you'll find that, we'll get it fixed and you'll get the extra points and everything will be cool. But if you wait until the last minute, you're going to get, if you don't do your assignment, you're going to get it pushed back to you. You're going to get 1 point for doing it late. And I'm going to tell you this, and this is what I'll tell you if this happens to you. One late assignment is not going to impact the final outcome of your grade. From this point moving forward, I would encourage you to do your assignments early so that you earn the extra points. And you will find that by the time we get, well into the semester, you'll be well ahead of the game. And when we get to the end of the semester, and this is the key point, when we get to the end or near the end of the semester, my hope, my goal, my purpose for setting up the grading scheme the way that I did is for you, especially those of you who are working to be A students, not just in this course, but in your entire college career. For you students who are doing the work and doing it on time, doing it early, you're going to find a huge benefit here because by the end of the semester, you're going to have plenty of time. You're not even going to need to do anything in this course because you're going to have earned your A, and you'll be able to focus your time and energy on those courses that have final exams that are more challenging, more intense. This course really is an easy A if you just follow the basic idea that I've laid out in the grading scheme, which is do your assignments early. That way I can give you feedback. We can fix any issues that might come up. You'll earn extra points and you'll be way ahead of the game by the end of the semester. So please help me help you. And if you can't, I understand. But like we talked about last week in the expectations conversation, I expect that you give it your best effort. I expect that you try and take advantage of this huge benefit of early assignments. And I expect that if you don't, you'll understand when I tell you, sorry, I told you, I suggested that you turn them in early and you'll be way ahead of the game. So again, the Blackboard assignments are the key. That's where you get graded. That's where your grades are. The other technology, the other components of the course are there to aid you in earning an A. And you need those. But as you know, sometimes technology can be a bit of a booger. In fact, speaking of technology this morning, I had a little bit of a scare. My internet just wasn't working, so I couldn't update Zoom. I couldn't run the program I'm running now. I couldn't post anything on the website. It was just, and I don't know why. I have really good internet, but it just didn't work too well this morning, just before class. So I was having another one of those tech check moments. So let's talk about this week's assignment. Again, if you have a question, please post it. And I'll answer your questions, or you're welcome to speak up. And if you speak up, I'll hear you and I'll answer your question. So the assignment last week was pretty easy, I think, and most of you nailed it, rocked it. There was one or two students that struggled a little bit with a basic budget. If you didn't do some kind of budget, then you got some pushback and some deductions, but hopefully you learned something. Most of you really have the idea of a budget down. Remember, there's a difference between kind of a budget and a spending plan. And I want to just highlight that for a minute. A budget is something you do that looks forward, that gives you an idea where your money is going to go. It's kind of a control device, a management tool. You get to manage your money with a budget, which is great. But in a spending plan kind of goes along with that. But what I'm asking you to do this semester is something that you really need to do in your life if you want to be serious about managing money, and that is to have a way to track every penny you spend, every penny you actually spend. And then you can compare that to your budget, what you projected that you're going to spend. But the spending plan and your spending tracker tool that you all told me you were going to use, that's a key component. And that's where you're going to capture all of the spending that you do this semester. And that's where one of the assignments you're going to get later in the semester, I'm going to ask for 3 things. And that spending tracker is a key part of it. So I'm going to ask you to show me the data. So if you're using your bank app, it'll be super, super easy. If you're using mint.com, it'll be super, super easy. If you're using the BayRock RightCapital portal, which is available to you, it's a premium tool. It does require, if you're going to use the budgeting piece to track your spending, if you're going to use the BayRock RightCapital, it's just like mint.com, except it doesn't have the advertisements. And it doesn't matter to me if you use it or not. I don't want your data in my portal. I mean, it is what it is. It's available if you want to use it. But that's the only way, if you link your accounts, that's the only way you're going to get access to that tool. So let me just show you. This is a basic expense screen. Now, if you didn't do a budget, if you use this expense screen in your plan, I accepted that as a budget. And so if you are still wondering, what do you mean a budget? Well, this is good enough. Most of you created a budget using some other tool, which is even better. But this is really important moving forward. This expense data sheet, this is data card. It's part of your plan. And those of you who completed this know what I'm talking about. Those of you who have not yet set up your planning portal, you don't know what I'm talking about. But this is a very basic data card, one of the 6 starting data cards that you found when you set up your BayRock account. And so this is one thing. Okay, this is we're going to come back to this multiple times. Your expenses are hugely important in the scheme of your financial plan. So I'm going to come back to this screen in your plan over and over this semester because I want you to be serious about the research that you do about the expenses that you have in your life. So let me talk about that for just a minute. I know some of you, about 25% of you, have no expenses. Because somebody else is paying those expenses doesn't really mean you have no expenses. It just means you're living off of someone else's generosity. So what I mean is, if you were to sit down and do some research, maybe let's say you live at home and you don't have any expenses because you live at home. Well, that doesn't mean your life has no expenses. Your living expenses are being absorbed by a parent. Okay, that means somebody else is paying for the utilities, the rent or the mortgage, the insurance, the taxes, the internet, the phone service, the car insurance, the gasoline. The list goes on and on and on. So what I'm asking you to do is take this step into adulthood, into responsible money management, so that you can actually learn how to manage the expenses in your life, even though you may not be writing the check right now. I want you to use this tool as a way to show me that you understand the expenses that relate to your life. So that's where you're going to do that. In your expense data card, under expenses in your plan. And I'll jump into a plan in a minute, but first I want to just make sure we know the distinction between this little budget tool. It's not really a budget, it's an expense. And the difference between that and this, which is budgeting, which is much, much more detailed. And so this is just a screenshot of a student who linked their credit cards into their financial plan. And I'll show you how to do that in a minute if you don't know. But it's super detailed. It's very robust. It will capture every penny that you penned, every penny that you spend if you link your credit card or your bank card or whichever account you're using to spend money. Your BayRock plan will capture that just like Mint.com, just like your bank app does. It's just a tool that lets us aggregate. And when I say lets us, I'm talking about my firm, BayRock Financial, who works with clients, who pays the clients pay money to have this premium tool so that we can capture all of the data feeds from every account in your life, including your credit cards, your bank account, your credit union, your investment accounts. Every account that you have can be aggregated, put into one stream where we can then develop a comprehensive, complete, and accurate picture up to date, up to the minute of your financial life. Okay, so this is a tool that we use in wealth management for clients, and it's just been given to you or made available to you for this semester, and you can continue to use it beyond. But to get this, you have to link your cards. And I know some of you really think that's like evil for me to have access to your data, and I don't care to have access to your data. So I don't care if you do it or not. You can use the BayRock portal, you can use Mint.com, you can use your bank, but you're going to give me 3 things when you do the assignment. One is the data, which this will capture, or Mint will capture, your bank app will capture all of the data that you spent, everything you spent for the whole semester. Number 2 is a categorized picture. Like this is a categorized picture of your spending. So if you used this tool, there it is, it's done for you, but that's what I'm going to ask for. And then number 3 things I'm going to ask for in this upcoming assignment related to your spending plan for this semester. 1 is the data, penny by penny expenses of your spending. Number 2 is this categorized list. And number 3 is just tell me what you learned as you became serious about being accountable for all of your spending this semester. Those are the 3 things that I'm going to ask for in that assignment. So one of the reasons I'm making sure you understand that I'm going to be asking for the data is because about 10% of you are going to use Excel, which is a very manual process, which is going to require that you go and make an entry every time you spend money. And frankly, honestly, that has proven to me to be an ineffective and very inefficient way for you to track your spending. So what's going to happen? You're going to get a pushback from me saying, I think you're missing some data. And I'm telling you that now, and I'll tell you that again, that if you're using something manual, you can do whatever you want, but I'm looking for the data. And if you don't convince me that you're giving me all the data, I'm going to give you deductions. Period. So if you use a tool like your bank app, if you use Mint.com, if you use any tool that's automated that captures your spending, you'll be just fine. You'll be able to give me the data. You'll be able to convince me that you were tracking your spending. So just so you know, the tool that you have access to can do that if you want. So this is this week's assignment. But mostly what it is the credit report. So we're going to talk about that for a minute. And you're going to, in your studies this week, you're also going to learn about credit reports and FICO scores. And your quiz in Money Study Group is where you'll show me that you did the research, you did the reading, you learned a little bit about your credit report, your credit score, your FICO scores. So any questions so far before I continue on? I'm going to give you a minute to ask questions. I I don't see any questions, no comments. Can you give me a comment and just let me know you're still here? That would be good. Say, yes, I'm still here. No, I'm not watching Netflix. Maybe, yes, thank you, Vivian. I appreciate that. Got it. Here. Cool, Zul. Thanks. Okay, so I guess I can continue on. Let's see what else we have. So, one thing I did today that's different, and I'm going to try to do this moving forward. Okay. I'm going to try to post the Blackboard assignments in advance so that you can take a look at them. And if you have questions, you'll be able to ask me during the Zoom meeting the questions about the assignment. Now, this is very close to what I posted in Blackboard. And it's also posted in Money Study Group. But Money Study Group is where you have all the extra content that you need to study and learn and be responsible for so that you can pass the quiz in Money Study Group and grab the screenshot and put it into your assignment, your document, your article that you submit to Blackboard. So, but the assignment itself is really, it's in Blackboard, pretty much what you need to do. And the work that you're going to do each week moving forward is going to be done in your financial planning portal. Okay, so you'll have the research and the reading and the learning that you'll do in Money Study Group related to each weekly topic. But the work that you're going to do in this course, again, is building your own financial plan. So I'm going to teach you the principles and the process of financial planning, but you're going to actually build a financial plan using your BayRock portal, BayRock, RightCapital. And so if you haven't already created that account, you'll want to do that right away. Most of you have. I get an email letting me know every time you set that up. So that's great. That's what we're going to be working on moving forward. So let's see. You're going to get your free credit report, and there's a link. You'll find the link in the Blackboard. There are 3 bureaus, by the way, you will learn this week, that there are 3 bureaus that will give you, each of them will give you 1 free credit report each year. I'm not going to talk about those different bureaus. Just want you to know that you can easily get 3 free credit reports every year. So I would encourage you to do it a couple times, 3 times a year, get a free credit report. Now, I know some of you through your bank, I know my bank is now offering free credit report, and that's cool too. You can get it wherever you want, but this link will take you to the free credit report online, which is historically, for all the years I've been teaching this course, a great resource. So do that. So you're going to grab your credit report. Now, I'm just going to tell you that the reason this is a good, important, necessary thing for you to do more than anyone else on the planet. And when I say you, I mean you, college student, because you as a college student are a very big target for creditors. And because of that, you just might find some surprises on your credit report. And you won't know about those surprises if you never do a credit report. A credit report it's basically everything that they have, the credit industry has, related to you and your Social Security number, your credit. So I'm waiting for a question now because I said everything related to your Social Security number. So let me just see if anybody asks a question. Maybe nobody needs to ask the question. But if you don't have a Social Security number, the answer to the question that you didn't ask is no. You can't get a credit report if you don't have a Social Security number. So for those of you who don't have a Social Security number, there may be 4 or 5, maybe 6 students in this cohort that do not have a Social Security number, foreign students. And if you're one of those, then you have a different assignment. And I'll show you that somewhere down here. So assignment B is for you if you don't have a social security number. So I'm not going to talk about that a lot, except to say that assignment B is only for students with no social security number. So please don't email me and ask me if you have to do assignment B, because you don't. If you have a social security number, you need to do the main assignment, which is to get your credit report. So that's that. So you're going to get your credit report. That's part one. Actually, part one is to, make sure that you've updated this expense. Most of you already did it this last week when you created your basic budget, but this is something we're going to come back to, and you're going to update it and revise it because you're going to learn more and more about the expenses related to your life, and all of those expenses related to your life need to show up in this how can I point to that? Yeah, that there we go. That screen, that's a data card. It's your expense data card. So that's part of this week's assignment. If you link your accounts again, you're welcome to grab that screen, but don't send me an email complaining that Professor Munchback's trying to get us to link our accounts so that he can see our data, because I don't care about your data. I do want you to have the best experience possible in this course. And if I were you, I'd probably, well, I don't know, I might be skeptical too. I don't really care. Just use something. If you're using mint.com, that'll work too. But really, you have to update this expense. You need to do the detailed worksheet. So because here's why. Your financial plan, as we build it moving forward, it's going to take a look at this screen, this data card, just like it does every data card in your financial plan. And the way it works is kind of a mathematical thing. Your financial plan is based on all of these different data cards, and it's basically looking at cash flows and expenses. So if you put down that you have only $2,500 a month in expenses and you're making $120,000, or you tell your financial plan, you put in that data card that you're making this much income, $125,000, but you're only spending $25,000 a year, $2,500 a month, then what the planning portal, what the algorithm, the mathematics will do is it's going to show that you have this huge, probability of success with a mountain of money left over at the end of your planning horizon. And so that's just going to be super inaccurate. So I'm going to try to help you be more realistic with the expenses and with the income, but I'm going to try to help you throughout the semester to keep those two, expenses and income and investment growth and all of those things, in the parameters of what's realistic. So this is an important piece of your plan, and I just wanted to make sure you knew that, and it is part of this week's assignment. So next is the free credit report, and then third, for those of you who do the credit report, you have credit, and if you have no credit, awesome. Just say, I have no credit. I have no debt, and that's great. You're still doing your credit report, but then I want a list of creditors, and this is really for you. It's not for me, it's for you, but it's required. And it is for you to make a list of all the debts that you have in your life, who you owe the money to, how much you owe, what is the interest rate on that debt, and when do you have to start paying it back, and what's the minimum that you have to start paying back. So think about that. Basically, in terms of being accountable, not just in your spending, but it's time for you to become accountable in terms of your debt. So a list of your creditors, if you don't already have that, now is the time. This week is your assignment, and that's what's required of you. And so if you already have that, great. Just grab a screenshot, put it in your article, and send it to me. I don't want your social security number. I don't want your account numbers. I just want to know that you know how much debt you have, who you owe the money to, how much you owe each creditor, what is the interest rate, what's the payment, and when do you have to start paying it. Basic basic information. And that's going to become important because you're going to include those data cards. You're going to include that data for those loans in your financial plan so that your financial plan reflects a realistic projection of your financial situation. So that's part of this week's assignment. This week, I just want the list. Moving forward, you'll have the opportunity to add those debts to your plan. And I think it's next week, it may be the week after, we're going to do the Credit Crush assignment. This is the assignment where I'm going to teach you, we're going to build on what you learned this week about credit and credit scores, but I'm going to teach you how much it costs for you to have credit and to have debt and to pay credit card fees. I'm going to show you how expensive that is and how it impacts your financial plan over your lifetime. And so you're going to be adding some debt to your plan. And we call that the Credit Crush assignment. And you'll see how it works when we get there. But this week, it's just about learning about credit reports, FICO scores, and how that all works, and creating an accurate list of your creditors. So that's part of this week's assignment. And then the Capstone review. If we haven't already talked about the Capstone, there is no final exam in this course, and there is yet a Capstone assignment. Every week, you're going to be doing some work on your financial plan, and if you do it correctly, you're going to have that segment of the Capstone assignment kind of in the can, in the bag, done, completed, finito. So what will happen at the end of the semester is I'm going to ask you to go back and review your plan piece by piece, component by component. Each element of your financial plan is the Capstone assignment, where you will put it all together into one report, where you'll take what you learned each week and you'll create an overview, kind of a summary, a comprehensive picture of your financial plan and each of the segments of the financial planning process that you learned throughout the semester. That's the Capstone. So that's the Capstone assignment. It's each week I'll try to review each element as we go along, each element of your financial plan, so that when you get to your Capstone and as you're building these pieces of your Capstone and hopefully saving your work as you go, hopefully you're organized enough to save your work, because at the end of the semester, you're just going to be grabbing, copying, and pasting and giving a quick explanation of each of the elements. That's the Capstone. It's basically, here's my expenses, here's what I learned, here's the next piece, and here's what I learned, and that's what you'll be doing. And we're going to have lots of pieces, the Capstone assignment. So I have a question. Christian said, I have a Social Security number, but no credit. I tried to make a credit report and it couldn't generate one since I don't have any credit. Am I able to do assignment B in that case? Yeah, that's what you're going to have to do, Christian. So if anyone, that's a great question too. Thank you for asking. For anyone who is not able to get a credit report, you should go ahead and do the assignment B. So if you have no credit and you can't get a report, then that should prompt you to go ahead and do assignment B. Even though, yes, you have a Social Security number, but you have no credit, you have no credit report, no activity. Now, here's a little side note, Christian, and for anyone else in that situation, you might want to think about getting started in the world of credit history and having credit. So one of the things I would suggest you do a little research about is a secure credit card. That's where you build your credit history. And basically you go to a bank that offers a secure credit card, and what it is they give you a credit card so you have the device, the credit card, so you can use at stores and online, but you can only use however much you've actually put into the account. So if I open an account and I put $500 in it and they give me a credit card in this specific account, I can go online and I can spend $200 and it will capture that, it being the credit bureaus, the credit industry, they will then know who you are. They will know that you're using credit, and you'll start getting offers for free credit, but you'll be building your credit history. And for many people, that seems like a pretty important thing to do. So if you don't have any credit history and you can't get a credit report right now, then you might want to think about, what does that mean, and what should you do about it, and what are the next steps? And so one of the next steps could be to get a secure credit card. I think that's what it's called. But I think it's a secure credit card. I should Google that. You should Google that. But basically, I just described what it was. It's a credit card at a bank where you actually, they don't give you a credit limit. They just let you use the money in your own account, but it allows you to establish a credit history. And that can be very important if you ever decide you want to buy something on credit, because having no credit history will basically mean that you have a very difficult time getting credit. And if you do get credit, when you do that application for whatever it is, a car, a house, an apartment, you may find that you're paying more because you have no credit history. So it's an important thing to think about if you're in the situation that Christian just described. So hope that helps. All right. So let's see. It is 10:36. I think I pretty much covered this week's assignment, so that's good. Now what I want to do, if you have questions, please post them. But what I want to try to do right now is, so for those of you who have not yet signed up for your BayRock account, I want to just do that real quick. I tried to do this last week, but I got bumped out. So I am going to just set up my account. Hopefully it allows me to. I've used this email before. So now I just did it. I'm going to update the password. So this is what happens when you go to that link, and that link is pretty much everywhere, to set up your account. Now here you're going to see that there are 6 data cards. Okay. So there's family profile. That's where I put my name and my birthday. So right now that says the birthday is January 1, but that's not true. Let's go to my year of birth is 1962. That makes me very old and kind of sad. Okay, so April, but it's not April 1st. How do I change that? It's April 1962. That's not my birthday. My birthday is April 15th, but I'm not sure why. Okay. Anyway, I'm just going to leave it. Oh, no. It took it all out. See, this is the problem with... There we go. I'm just going to... That's my wife's birthday. 1962. Okay. So I'm going to hit save. So it says I'm 60. That's fine. My wife, actually, I could put her name, which is what I would actually do. I would say Connie. That's my wife. And her age is, she was born, that's where it was. I should have done that first. So let's see. She's born on the 6th of August. So let's see if this works. I've never done this on my iPad. I'm doing it on my iPad. There we go. So I hit save. That's how, okay, good. So my birthday is wrong, but anyway. And if I had a dependent, I would put them in right there, and you'll do the same. I suspect most of you are just going to, I'm not going to say I assume, because you know what happens when we assume. So that is your first data card, okay? There are 6 data cards here that you have to complete before you hit the little button that says complete, which sends me an email to tell me that you completed the first steps of setup. So that was the first data card. So then if I hit next, it's going to take me to income, and I'm going to put in my income here, and I'm just going to say that I make $100,000 a year, and it's going to keep on going until I retire, and I have a 3% growth rate. Now, you may not have income. That's great. You can, and then Connie's income, she's retired. So, and then there's Social Security estimates. You don't need to worry about those right now. I just want you to get the basic thing set up. If you're working and you have income, then you should definitely put in a salary. We'll continue to focus on this moving forward. We're going to, at some point, just FYI, heads up, kind of here's what's coming. At some point, I'm going to say to you, okay, let's pretend that you're 10 years older. And we're going to change your birthday to make you 10 years older. And we're going to pretend that you've graduated from college. And then we're going to pretend that you got the job that you really want to get when you retire, your dream job. And we're going to pretend that you're making the same level of income that is the average for that industry. And we're going to pretend that you've been investing in your 401k and saving for retirement and doing a few other things. So at some point down the road, not very far, we're going to come back and we're going to change some things up in your plan. But for now, your job is just to enter the data that's correct about you with your current birthday. So that's pretty simple, right? Next. Now we have contributions to savings accounts. And if you're not making any contributions right now, don't worry about this. But remember, we're going to come back later and I'm going to show you how to edit this so that we can pretend that you're 10 years older and that you've started saving in certain ways, because the second law of personal finance is the law of tax-advantaged investing. And I'm going to teach you about investing, and I'm going to teach you how to do that. And so this data card we will come back to and we will work on, and it will be very helpful in your financial plan. I always like it when I sound like Donald Trump. I tell you all these things and then I tell you how great it's going to be. But it is. It's going to be so great. You're not going to believe it. It's just going to be awesome. You really will learn a lot from this data card, but we're going to come back to it. Okay. So just, if you are currently saving in your 401k, by all means, include it here. But if not, just hit the next button. And now we're at net worth, and this is the magical screen that causes me so much grief every semester, because this is where we can aggregate accounts. So I have several bank accounts I used to be with State Farm. I was a State Farm agent. State Farm Bank was awesome. And then they went out of business, but they did an amazing thing. They moved everything over to US Bank. And so I have lots of accounts at US Bank. So here's where I would, and I have in my financial plan, enter my credentials, my username and password for US Bank. And then what happens, and I'm just going to show you. Now I'm going to open my bank app is what I'm going to do. And I'm just going to show you how many. So I'm opening the bank app. It's got my Face ID and it lets me log in. And so you can see that I have lots of accounts. And so those accounts, let me see if any of them need any money. Nope, they're all good. So I can manage these in my bank app, which is an awesome bank app. US Bank is an awesome bank app. If I needed to send you money, I could Zelle you money, which is an amazing, cool way to send money. The problem is my US Bank app isn't included in my financial plan, and that's where I need it if I want to have a comprehensive, accurate financial plan. So what I would do, and what I did, is I entered my username and password here, and so then all of my accounts immediately, magically, amazingly show up in my financial plan with to the penny transactions so that I can track my spending and forecast my spending and show my net worth in an accurate, up-to-date, up-to-the-minute way. Now, if you don't have any assets, that's probably not a huge deal for you. But if you do have assets, if you have money and you want to track where you are day by day, week by week, quarter by quarter, year by year, it's a pretty good idea to have a good, accurate picture of your net worth. It's very important. And you can't get that. Well, you can go manually enter all your stuff. But if I'm your financial planner, I'm going to be like, really? You can do that in your plan. You have the ability to just add accounts. So see right here, you can just go and you can add each of those accounts and you can manually enter the amounts. And that's fine if you want to do that. But man, why wouldn't you take advantage of this? It's a very expensive tool. Mint.com is free because Mint.com has all these ads because they're trying to get you to, buy these products from all these investment companies and institutions. But in this platform, there's no ads and it's pretty private. And if you're worried about the security, just let me tell you, it's bank level encryption, the same as mint.com, but it's the same as banks. So it's pretty safe. It's read only. Nobody on my side of the world can get into your accounts. It's just read only data. It's a data feed. But anyway, all of these different financial institutions and many, 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 many more that you don't see here. You just search. You search for, let's say, Bank of America. Oh, look, I do BA, and that's the first one that comes up. Chase, U.S. Bank. So, I mean, any institution you want, you can link. But you don't have to. But this is the net worth data card. And so look it over. Add something if you want. It's not critical this week, but we will be coming back to the net worth data card over and over because it's like the central piece of your net worth. It's where all of your assets and liabilities get entered. So it's a really, really important data card. And that's where it is. It's the fourth tab when you're setting up your new account. And it's again where you link your accounts. So if you want to link your accounts, where do you go? You go to net worth. Okay, so we've done net worth. What do we do now? Next, we hit next. And that takes us to expenses. And this is where I told you before, you are required not just to use a simple approach where you just put in a number. You're going to go down and use the detailed, not just the simple, but the detailed worksheet. And this is where you get to do some thinking, do a little research, and come up with some realistic numbers. And you need to do that this week. So think about what, if you're living at home, this is a good example. If you're living at home and you're not paying any expenses, I want you to pretend that you're paying for your groceries, that you're paying for your rent, that you're paying for at least your portion of the utilities at your house, okay? If you live on campus, you still have expenses. And so I want you to just be as accurate as you can about the cost of your life, and this is where it goes. It's right in this screen. So after you do that, what do you do next? You hit next. And now we get goals. I think it's thinking. I need to hit next again. Yes. Now this is where you get to have a little fun this week, and you get to add some goals. Maybe retirement, or maybe it's just do me a favor. Don't add a goal to buy another house. Okay, just don't do that. Trust me, it will cause problems in your planning portal when we get moving forward. So you may have some goals like to buy a car, to go on a trip. You can add any goals you want. Retirement is a really good one to think about. And I would encourage that you make that this week's goal, is just put down retirement. Don't put buy a house or buy rental property. Just trust me, it'll create problems later on. All right, Zool has a question. When creating my account, I accidentally forgot to change the expenses part to a detailed worksheet, and I finished setting up my account a zero way. I can still change that, or what do you suggest I could? So yeah, that's easy. So you just go back to expenses and you tap right there, and you open it, and then instead of simple, you go detailed and you enter that information. And then when you hit save, it will save it. So that's what I would suggest you do in your plan. So if you did this week's assignment and you submitted it without either this detailed worksheet or a basic budget using any tool of your choice, if you submitted your assignment without giving me a basic budget, and again, this qualifies as a basic budget, but if you didn't do it and you already turned in your assignment, it's too late. You're going to get a deduction of 25 points because that was a big part of this week's assignment. So I hope that isn't usual. I hope you did give me a basic budget using some tool. And again, if you didn't, don't feel bad. You'll have lots of assignments to make up for it. Just do them early. Good. Perfect. You gave a basic budget. Sweet. So now for your, hopefully you understood the answer. You just go back into your plan, change it from simple to detailed, update your plan. And trust me, you're going to be updating your plan multiple times throughout the semester, including and especially this data card, because your expense data card, it's one of the most important. Okay, so I hit next, it takes me to goals. When I hit next again, it takes me to goals. This is where you'll add goals. I'm going to say I want to retire in April on my birthday in 2030. Do I want to do Jim? I'm trying to figure out where, at my age, retirement age, I'm going to say 70. I don't really ever want to retire. So I hit save, and that does that. Now here's the important part, and then I'm going to basically be done with this week's lecture, and you'll be ready to go complete this week's assignment. It's already posted in Blackboard. Hey, can someone jump on over into Blackboard and just confirm that this week's assignment, week 3 credit report, is there available for you in Blackboard? I posted it, but last week I had a little issue with that. So yes, it's there. Thank you, Martha. Thank you. I appreciate that. Good. So I'm going to I am going to post each weekly assignment in advance moving forward, so that you have a chance to look at it and ask questions during the Zoom meeting, because I don't want there to be any, really honestly, I don't want there to be any excuse that I didn't do my job to help facilitate you being successful in the course. And so I think one way to eliminate any question about that is to make sure that you have an opportunity to look at the assignment. And if you're confused after looking at it, you have an opportunity to ask your question during the Zoom meeting. Please don't email me those questions. That's what this is for. If you are still confused, ask the students who are in the GroupMe group, because chances are they were in the Zoom meeting and they're not confused. And I'm suspecting that those of you who are asking me questions last minute with basic, simple questions because you're confused is partly because you didn't attend the Zoom meeting. And maybe I'm wrong about that, but please, if it's a basic question like, how do I do a basic budget? You might want to ask that in the GroupMe, because if you ask me that question, I probably won't answer, because that's something you should be able to learn. And if you don't know, you need to figure it out. So quick question. My audio cut out when you were talking about it. Did you say we could get our credit report from our credit card provider? I said, yes, Maritza. I think I'm saying that right. But yes, I don't care where you get it. My bank actually is offering to give me a free credit report, and I don't care where you get it. It's just, the point is for you to get a credit report, to see what's on your credit report, so that if there are any mysteries, any surprises, anything you don't know about, you'll know about it. I'm not sure it's the same quality report as you get when you go to the annual credit report free, but whatever you want to do, I use US Bank. Yeah, okay, yeah, Christian, yeah, I use US Bank and it's awesome. They have an amazing app. I know Chase and Bank of America have great apps as well. I'm just amazed at how you got to know, when I was in college, we didn't have the internet. We certainly didn't have smartphones and apps. And it's just amazing to me what detailed information, what I can do just with my bank app. It's awesome. So, anyway, okay, back to the lesson. Oh, this is an important piece. I'm going to show you how to complete this setup of your account in BayRock. And then I'm going to, end unless you have questions or want to talk. But this is super important. It's super complicated. I mean, it's so easy for you not to realize how to do this. And so many people forget to do this that I'm just going to make sure I put it on the screen and point to it. Let's see. How do I point to it? There we go. That way. Man, that's weird. I'm pointing backwards. Sorry, I'm playing. So you see what I'm pointing at? You see what I'm looking at? What is it? What is that button right there? Did you do that? Did you push that button? What is that button? If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, please feel free to put in the comments what that button is. I'm not seeing anyone. So Christian says Discover works. Just download the app and sign in. I just looked on mine and it's on the activity page under card benefits. Cool. Mustafa, you got it. You're the only one that answered my question, my very complicated, very difficult question about setting up your BayRock RightCapital account. What's the final step you need to do this week if you want it to work properly? And if you want me to get that little email that said you completed the setup. It's called FICO Credit Scorecard. Cool. Yep. I think the credit score is different from the credit report. Man, that's a great comment. And before we talk about this word that's on the screen that you need to do this week, I'm going to make sure I talk about the distinction, the difference, the important difference between a credit report and a FICO score. And you're going to learn all about that this week in Money Study Group, but they're very different. So yeah, if you get a FICO score at your bank, that's not a credit report. So you're welcome to use the credit report function at your bank in your bank app. But if it just gives you your FICO score, you're going to get knocked down 25 points at least in this week's assignment. So hello, make sure you know the distinction between a credit report and a FICO score. Maritza, thank you so much for making that comment. It is not the same. A credit report is a detailed report that shows everything related to your activity in the credit world. It's what your assignment is this week. I don't care what your FICO score is. You do, great. Your bank does, because they want you to be a great customer for their product, and their product is credit. And if you have a high FICO score, then you're the kind of customer they want to give credit to. So very different than a credit report. And that's your assignment, is a credit report. So that's exactly what I was confused about earlier. Is there a way to get back to this 6-page setup after we have pressed complete? Yeah, sure. So here's complete. I'm going to hit complete and see what happens. I hit complete. Now I'm going to get an email from myself. So let's see what happens. So while I'm waiting for whatever I'm waiting for here, I'm not sure why. I think it's because I set up I had zoomed in my page, I think. So I hit complete. So now what I'm going to do is and you're going to have to do this too. I don't even know. If you hit complete, Zul, are you in your plan right now? Can you open it right quick and see if you can follow along? Can you log back in? Do you know how? Yes. So you're in it now, right? Can you unmute yourself and talk to me? And I'll walk you through this. Cool. So I go, you see my screen still, right? I'm going to dashboard, and then I'm going to click over here on profile. Those are the two upper tabs you guys are going to want to use regularly. So you see dashboard to the left, these are the upper tabs, and then on the right is profile. And if you go to profile, that's what you just completed, was your profile. And if you go to profile and click on expenses, that's where you'll find that data card that you need to change this from simple to detailed. So can you do that in your plan? Cool beans. Yeah. So again, you bet. You bet. That's a great question. I'm glad. Uh, Christian, thanks. You're a world of information, bro. I appreciate it. So look, back to this planning portal, your BayRock RightCapital plan. Just get used to, after you set it up and after you hit complete, you may have to log back in. Make sure you save your password and the email that you used to set up your account. You go to the same link that you went to before to set it up, the same landing page. But get used to start out, get used to these two upper tabs, dashboard, profile. Those are important, because then under each of those tabs, under each of those upper tabs, you'll see all of these other, main tabs. And so you're going to want to get familiar with where they are, what they are, play with it a little bit. And just because all you did is you completed setup, which was you started with family and you went to, I think income was next. They're in different order than these tabs are apparently, but you did expenses, you did net worth. That's where you link your accounts, and you went to goals. And again, I don't care if you link your accounts in here or not, but I do care that you understand the benefits of doing that. If you're using mint.com, I would just encourage you to use this instead, because mint.com is going to inundate you with ads, and the BayRock portal is ad free. It's a premium portal for our wealth management clients. And so for your plan, if you have lots of accounts, this is a great way to keep track of them. Or if you want to use your financial plan as a budgeting tool, this is the only way you can do it, is to link whatever card you use, what bank card, credit card. So just FYI, please, again, don't send me an email or put in an evaluation that I tried to get you to link your card so I could have your data. That's just not true. But I get that in the evaluations a lot. So there you have it. Let's see. I think I covered everything that I wanted to cover today. We covered the BayRock plan setup. I did post this. Hopefully it'll load. Yeah, so this is posted on Missional Money, and you probably have a link to it. If you want to read it, just jump on over to missionalmoney.com, and there's a podcast you can listen to, or you can just watch this video on your playlist. This is where you're going to go and to set up your account. If you haven't downloaded the mobile app, if you didn't know that was available, then you want to do that. It's a cool app. So kind of like your bank app. It's not that much cooler than your bank app, except it has a lot more information than what you're going to find in your bank app. Information and data related to your financial plan. And again, this is one of the reasons why, if you're going to link your accounts, you're going to get a lot more benefit in the mobile app, because you're going to have access to that. So again, after you hit the complete button, when you come back to this page, notice you already have an account and you just log in right there. So same page. Okay. Yeah, and this is the dashboard. So these are all of the things we're going to go through this semester. This is the profile that you just set up before you hit complete. So if you've done that already, you're good to go. The one that you want to pay a little attention to this week and every week is expenses.
And so make sure you've got that set for the detailed entry, and then update that this week and give me a screenshot. It's 11:04 a.m. We are out of time. Well, we're not out of time, really. We could go another 30 minutes legally, because this is a 3-hour course, but I try to get you done at 11 a.m. and we're past 11 a.m. So I'm going to give it a minute, answer some questions if you have any in Zoom. I'm now going to, on my side, jump on over to my live stream. And if you're watching on, well, look at that. I've got some viewers. I just updated my live stream tool, and they give me a list of people who are watching the live stream. I didn't know that. So I'm going to finish the broadcast. This is the end of week 3, credit reports and FICO scores. We've been streaming live to Facebook and the YouTube on multiple pages, multiple channels. And so if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, please leave a comment. Let me know you're watching. Hit the like button if you care to. If you don't have an account with YouTube, you might want to set that up. That's the only way you can like or save. And so if you're in our course at the University of Houston at the Bauer College of Business, you have a playlist, and it's in Money Study Group. It takes you right to this video and every video for this semester. So I'm going to end the broadcast now.